It's easy to cook vegan. Here's a very simple recipe: air fried potatoes. That really isn't even a recipe, it's just something you can throw together. Enjoy. Here we are making some air fried potatoes. I'm just going to use a pan that fits in my air fryer. It's probably enough for one or maybe two people, depending what else you're having. I don't know how many potatoes it'll take. You know, this is real life. It could be this many, it could be less, maybe it could be more, but I think this will probably do it. So what we'll do first is we will just cut off the parts of the potatoes that look a little bit gross. I've already rinsed these, of course. So make sure they're rinsed, scrubbed if you need to. This one's getting extra old, so you know what? This is real life. I'm still going to use it. I'll just cut off the parts that don't look so great. We'll just shove those over there. This has a bit of a cut. Looks all right. It's a little bit green underneath in this one, and that's not great because if you have a lot of green in there, it's solanine that has been produced, and that's something that's not good for you to eat. I don't think it's the end of the world because I'm sure I've eaten lots of potatoes with that in there, but if you're being cautious, maybe you don't want to use that potato. But for me, I've never had an issue with it. It hasn't caused any gastric distress or anything for me. So they're just potatoes, you know, they're not gonna kill you. Okay, so what we can do, since we're cutting a circle here, we want to make it stable, and it is good if you have a flat side. That's nice to have. So what I'll do, since I want to do cubes, is first I'll make these planks. So now I've got these, looks like a deck of playing cards. And then we'll just cut those into strips or lengths. And you can make them as big or as little as you'd like. This is your dish. This is the beauty of it. This is what you don't get at a restaurant. It's having everything done perfectly your way, the way you want to do it. It doesn't have to be pretty. You can make these all different sizes, although you probably want them to be close to the same size so they cook at the same rate. Otherwise, you might have some big pieces that are, you know, not quite done, and small pieces that are cooked. So this is how easy it is. You just chop, you dump it on your tray. You can put a little bit of spray on there, some oil spray if you like, or you could use parchment or silicone, um, like a silicone pad on there, just depending if you are tolerant of spray or not. And honestly, since we're using water in this, we don't need the spray really because we're going to de-stick the pan with water. There's nothing you do when you're cooking, pretty much, that can't be undone. So you're not going to make a mistake that you can't fix. That's the biggest fear I think a lot of people have. They're worried that they're going to go through all this trouble and then they're not even going to like it. But there's always fixes, unless you absolutely burn it to a crisp, which I think we can avoid today. And we don't want to crowd the pan completely because otherwise they'll kind of just steam instead of brown properly. If you were to, again, that won't be the end of the world. If you're like, I don't know how much is too much or how much is too little, it's totally fine. You know what? You're going to learn as you do this over and over and over, and you're going to realize where you like it perfectly done. Or sometimes you'll just be so hungry that you really don't care. You're like, you know what? That's done enough. I'm eating that. You don't have to go somewhere, drive there, order, wait forever. It's not done the way you like it anyway. Pay a bunch of money, go home dissatisfied. That's my experience, at least. Go home dissatisfied. All right, is this enough potato? Yeah, this is probably the right amount. I already cut this one though. So you know what? Let's stuff this on the pan with it and see what happens. I think you're going to find that we're not going to get the perfect result, but it's still going to be great. So let's find out. Strips. And you can just do one half of the potato at a time. I'm just brushing it here. easy is this? This is probably 50 cents a potato. Not a big deal. And you know, if you were doing this professionally, you would put this in a bowl and then mix up your seasonings in there and they'd be perfectly coated and that'd be wonderful. But know what? This is an everyday recipe. We're just going to dump things in and it's going to turn out fantastic. So I'll put a little bit of soy sauce. This is awfully salty stuff. So I don't want to absolutely drown it with soy sauce. And see, I just put a little bit. It's not mixed in yet. We're going to put also a little bit of veggie broth. If you had actual liquid broth, that would be better. But I've got this nice powdery stuff that I think is going to have a good flavor. And then we're going to put a little bit of water and just enough to kind of cover the bottom. And this also mixes together the seasonings that we've just put on there. And you could use a spoon or something, but I like to use my hands. And this is going to be just lightly seasoned. It's just barely salted, but it's great to add the saltiness now instead of later because it soaks into the potato a little better. So you can see it's just a fine layer of moisture. And what that does is it's going to make the potato steam first and then brown. So it's not going to be dry and difficult to eat. It's going to be moist inside, but also brown on the outside. That's what we're going for. So by the time we take this out of the oven, all the moisture will be gone. It'll have steamed away, but it gives the potato a chance to cook by steaming, and then it will cook by baking. So let's put it in the air fryer, see what happens. Check out the progression of our potatoes here. If you notice, on the one side, we've got much browner potatoes than we have on the other. So the solution for this is just to turn the pan and complete baking in our oven. This was at 17 minutes as this progression right here where we're at, where this almost looks done and this doesn't. But what we will do is we will also turn the potatoes because we want to make sure that they release for one, and then also that both sides get cooked. And also you'll notice that the bottoms of these potatoes are nice and moist, like we expect because we put a bunch of liquid in there. So what this does for us is it exposes the other side to the dry heat of our air fryer. And it's a little messy. Nobody fell overboard. That's okay. Go like this, give it a shake just to even them out, and they go back in the air fryer. Okay, potatoes are done. There we are, nice and crispy. But as crispy as I like them, maybe you like them more crispy, maybe less. Let's plate them. Oh, and now here's another real world problem. Sometimes they stick. That's okay. They were to stick so much that you could not remove them. You could add a little bit of water or broth and stick them in the oven for a minute or two, and they would release on their own. So this is another trick of using no oil in your recipe. Oh, look, nice happy little potatoes. Beautiful. Maybe you want to put a little ketchup with those guys. This stuff comes out fast. There you are. Beautiful, crispy, air-fried potatoes. You can have them cooking while you're doing other stuff, getting your stuff unpacked from work, whatever works for you. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. This is an ordinary vegan just cooking ordinary food. So you should taste your potatoes when they come out. See if they're salty enough for you. See if there's enough seasoning. You can always add a little salt. You could add a little pepper. You could even add a little bit of seasoning. Here's a little Italian seasoning. What the heck? You make it to your taste, however you like it. Enjoy.